everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Fandom Frequency Network, man. We get into all the pop culture goodness, whether it's old school, new school, anime, video games, music, whatever. We will talk about it. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button, y'all. It really does help the channel and the overall movement immensely. We're trying to grow a community of like-minded creative individuals or fans. That's what this is all about, creating community, creating a place where we can all collaborate, work on different projects together, and if anyone's interested in maybe getting on the show, doing one of our long-form podcasts, maybe getting an interview situation going on, you want to promote something you're working on, drop us a line. I'm going to have the email, our personal or our business email for the for the podcast network for the channel here. It's going to be in the description below of this video over here on YouTube, and this is going to be a YouTube exclusive. So you're not going to get any of these Brendan Fraser reviews that I'm going to be doing here on the channel for a little while now on the podcast feed. You got to be subscribed right here on YouTube. So hashtag MoreCowbell, click that bell. You're going to get an alert every single time we're in your feed. No, it's not dinner time. It's Fandom Frequency time. So make sure you click that bell. Hashtag MoreCowbell. Hashtag Fandom Frequency. Hashtag Brendan Fraser is a national fucking treasure. And he's always been one of my favorite actors growing up. The Mummy, George of the Jungle. You know what I'm saying? So many different fun things I've watched him in over the years and films I'm discovering now in my adult years. And I figured, you know what? I've been watching some Brendan Fraser movies recently. I've been on a little bit of a Brendan Fraser kick. He's kind of in a big comeback right now. He's about to do that Martin Scorsese, Leo DiCaprio, Keanu Reeves is going to be in it. He's going to be starring in that film with those guys next year. It's going to be some kind of crime noir thriller. Very excited for that. We're not going to get to see him as Firefly and Batgirl anymore. Thanks, David Zaslav. Appreciate you. So there goes that. But he also has another big drama coming out with Sadie Sink from Stranger Things and stuff. And he's doing Doom Patrol, which I think's getting ready to end soon, if I'm not mistaken. Still got to catch up on that. But yeah, Brendan Fraser's back, man. He's back and better than ever. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a lot of fun to get into some of these Brendan Fraser movies, man. We're going to get into some of those. The Mummy trilogy. Hang tight. We're going to have that next month sometime leading into spooky season. We got a lot of great, cool movies planned, old and new for that. Mostly going to be horror-based in October, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But for now, we're doing all these Brendan Fraser movies, man. I'm not going to do literally every single movie the dude ever did, but I'm going to do some of his popular 90s movies and some of those 2000s movies as well, and a couple of his modern projects, mix it up a little bit. We're going to do some Oscar winners. We're going to do some goofy comedies. We're going to do some underseen gems like this one today. In this particular review, as you guys can see from the title and thumbnail, because it's the internet, School Ties, 1992, man. Very underrated, great film. I absolutely love this movie, man. And it came out, freaky enough, on September 11th, 1992. And this is such a criminally underrated and underseen film, man. It's very, very well done. And obviously it stars Brendan Fraser. He's our main character, David Green, a young Jewish boy, Jewish kid. He wants to go and get himself a scholarship through football to get himself into a good school like Harvard and whatnot. He comes from not the best financial situation at home and things like that, staying over there in the Midwest where he ends up moving. I think they live in Chicago or something like that, and he ends up getting sent to this boarding school in order to get this football scholarship to get him into Harvard. So that's the big thing. But the one big crazy thing about this school is it's a Christian school. They're Jewish. So he doesn't necessarily feel open, or he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable opening up to people around him and telling him that information, because this is back in the 50s when this film is set and takes place. And as y'all know, racism still exists, very much so today. But for those of you like myself in this millennial generation growing up on the West Coast, especially in California, I don't think any of us have ever had to experience racism or bigotry quite like this in your face. Some of y'all have, I'm sure. I haven't had a whole lot of really blatant racist stuff go down against me, even as a black man in this country. So I think I've had some subtle stuff, but nothing real in my face like, you nigger, or we're better than you, or you spook, or whatever. Never really heard any of that shit. So, if you're black and you lived over 5 years, you've been called a nigger at least once when someone gets pissed at you, but they're not actually racist. They're just trying to piss me off, you know? And I'm dropping N-bombs. I feel like I have the right to do it. If you're offended, don't really care, honestly, because it's just a word that means stupid, ignorant person. So if you want to get all crazy about it, dude, it's just a word at the end of the day. But I know some people are very uncomfortable with saying it, and it's a very controversial thing. And race in and of itself, and religion, and all that stuff is controversial in and of itself. And back when this film is set in the 50s, Jews weren't necessarily the most loved amongst certain communities in certain places. Now, there's other groups and other minorities and other things going on that are getting dogged out equally as much, if not more so. But this film takes place here and focuses on this particular thing of Jews getting hated on and all the anti-Semitic hating motherfuckers that were running around in the 50s. He literally gets into a straight up fucking rumble with his buddies in the beginning of the film when they're meeting up after school going to the diner. They literally get into a fucking rumble with these bikers because they're literally just being racist and being bigots and being assholes to them for literally no reason and end up swinging on them. So then Brendan Fraser and his homies got to end up kicking their ass, and Brendan Fraser definitely takes some hits, but he's definitely putting these niggas down, and he has to beat some ass and show them what the hell's going on, and he has to constantly deal with the stuff where he's from all the time. And he ends up having to deal with this stuff later on in the film once he gets to the school, but everything's all fine and dandy once his dad drops him off at the school, and he meets all the new kids, mainly played by all these great up-and-coming actors in the early 90s at that time that are some of our kind of OGs now, you know, some of our very seasoned veterans in the game. And all these guys are a part of the same generation, and it's some people that I've been talking about in my View Askew review series, especially these two, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, pop up in this thing way before Dogma, way before Chasing Amy. I think this was right around Dazed and Confused. I think this was right before. So Ben Affleck hadn't done that yet. Matt Damon hadn't done any of that stuff either. He wasn't in that movie anyway. But you know what I'm saying? They hadn't done any of their big hits yet. Not a single one. So they were just straight up-and-coming young actors. And that's so cool to see people that we've grown up with and people in our, like, you know, early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, the people that have grown up watching these guys on screen now for a while. And it's cool to kind of see them go back to their early beginnings in this film. And even though they're not playing likable characters, I really love their performances in there. Ben Affleck's definitely a little more of a background character compared to Matt Damon. He's really the co-lead of the film. He's really like kind of the second build character, I would say. And he's kind of the main antagonist of David Green once he finds out that he's actually Jewish. Because he didn't lie to them and tell anyone that he wasn't. He just didn't volunteer the information due to the fact that people literally will hate on him and will treat him like shit based on that fact. When I'm not trying to be too controversial here, but they're all a bunch of white boys, so you ain't that fucking different, just saying. And no one's really that different anyways, because if you slit all our wrist open right now, we all bleed red and it's all blue on the inside. So we're all the fucking same, you know? But these people don't fucking get that, you know? And it's so crazy, man. And he actually is a roommate with another great up-and-coming actor who ended up getting to be in the Cape and Cowl, running around with Batman, with bat nips on. You have Chris O'Donnell up in here from Robin fame, and more recently and more respectfully, NCIS Los Angeles, co-starring with my boy LL Cool J. Mama said, knock you out, man. And yeah, it's cool to see Chris O'Donnell in here. And he plays one of the young guys that actually isn't a bigot, hatred person, you know, or hateful person. So that was kind of cool to see. And another little fun Easter egg for all you fellow Brendan Fraser film fans out there, and you're going to see her in our next installment of this review series. Amy Lokane plays Brendan Fraser's girlfriend in this film. I forget the girl's name, but she goes to the all-girls school or whatever. And she starts hating on him too later on when she finds out that he's Jewish as well and breaks it off with him. But the cool thing about the actress being in this film and being paired with Brendan Fraser is 2 years later in Airheads, which is going to be our next installment of the Brendan Fraser review series. Very fun film from 1994. She played his girlfriend in that too. So that's pretty funny how that works out. But they do have great chemistry in this film for the most part, and even more so in Airheads. And you can see how both of them really grew quite a bit as performers from then to there. And like I said, Brendan Fraser is delivering. a fantastic, very well layered and nuanced performance throughout this whole film. In the first half, where he's dealing with all the struggles at home, getting acquainted with everyone at school, becoming friends with them, he has great chemistry on screen with Affleck and Damon and O'Donnell and all these great actors and up-and-comers at the time on screen. He does such a great job with everything he's given, whether it's the anger, more emotional side of things, or it's the more fun, upbeat side and the more charismatic kind of charm that we've all grown to love from Brendan Fraser really shines here in this movie. And you really get to see him way before he did any of his hits. All he had done that's of note that people like us would even know from back in the early 90s was Encino Man, the same year or the year before. So he wasn't anywhere near a star or anything. So it's really cool to see how much raw talent Brendan Fraser had back then. You know what I'm saying? He was so fantastic in this movie. And you got some other actors in here that aren't necessarily anywhere near A-list these days, but they've done some very popular, well-known films. That's for damn sure. One being Cole Hauser, who also plays one of the bullies in Dazed and Confused, which also coincidentally features Ben Affleck as well, dude. So that's funny how they're both literally homies in that movie being bullies, and were being bullies in this film. Cole Hauser wasn't the worst of the bunch in this one, though, that's for sure. Ben Affleck's the asshole. He's literally talking shit about Jews when they were bringing up Harvard way before he knew David Green was one of them. So, such a big asshole. And Matt Damon takes the cake of fucking teen film asshole bullies, man. I tell you, he's the worst. He's the fucking worst, man. And you also got Anthony Rapp in here. And he plays the most hateful next to Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's character in this film. He might even be worse. He just don't have as much dialogue and time on screen. But he might be worse. And that guy was also in Dazed and Confused as the nerdy, almost kind of John Lennon-looking guy that got with the younger girl, not in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? The girl that was becoming a freshman. He was kind of talking to that girl in Dazed and Confused. So it's really cool how you see all these up-and-coming actors kind of crossing paths in the 90s and doing all these films together and coming up at the same time with the View Askew, Kevin Smith movies, and all the other, Richard Linklater, Tarantino, and all these other people. It's really cool to see all these actors really playing off each other and doing these things together. And he was great in the film. Anthony Rapp, Cole Hauser was really good. Amy Lokane, like I said, for the limited screen time she has, very awesome. And this film was directed by Robert Mandel. I'm not exactly familiar with a lot of his work, but the crazy thing is the writer of this film is Dick Wolf. And for those of you that might be a little bit younger and don't know, he's the guy that fucking created Law and Order. So this motherfucker's rolling on the floor laughing and with a pile of money, This guy's living it up. But it's really cool to see his beginnings as a writer and to see just how great of a writer he really was and really is. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of see and kind of understand why he had the chops to do that, because I'm not a big Law and Order guy, but there are some really well-written, well-done episodes, so I do got to give credit where it's due. So that was a really weird fact. Once I looked up to see who wrote it, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy, right? 30 years ago, literally, putting out great stuff. Maybe it wasn't necessarily a huge hit at the time or an Oscar contender or nothing, but awesome fucking movie, man. Awesome fucking movie. And I just love the way they portray both perspectives of people that kind of hate on the Jews at first, but kind of learn to be like, you ain't that much different than me, if any different at all. You're just like me. My bad, I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. I like how you get characters like Chris O'Donnell and this other character in particular that do come around and do see the error of their ways. But the Ben Affleck and the Matt Damon and the Anthony Rapp characters don't give a fuck. And they're that straight, true blue haters. You know what I'm saying? And I just love the way they portrayed that in this film. They didn't make it too on the nose and so much of the focus that you couldn't have any fun or any lighter moments in the film and just get a good coming of age story out of it. But at the same time, I love the way they explore hatred, bigotry, and religion in this film in such a fresh and timeless way. And it's kind of crazy to see some parallels of things that still go on today that were going on in this film. And obviously the film being a period piece set in the 50s, it's a little bit disheartening to know we're still going through some of these similar issues 70 years later. But hey, man, we all got to band together and try to make things better for the future, right? So This is definitely a very underrated gem. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. I really fucking love this movie. I can't wait to buy it and put it on that shelf over there. It's an awesome movie. And for all you peoples out there that love some Ben Affleck, Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, any of those actors, anyone that just likes a really good, well-written film and likes dramas or likes coming-of-age films, this is definitely for you. And for all my fellow Brendan Fraser fans, some of y'all might not have seen this. You really need to add this to your list and make it a priority to watch. It's a very refreshing, dramatic, and well-done role from Brendan Fraser and really showed the early promise and why he's still around today in Hollywood, kicking up dust like he is now. So I really love Brendan Fraser. He's always going to be one of my favorite performers, and I love watching his stuff. And we're going to have some more Brendan Fraser reviews, man. We're doing the Mummy trilogy, Airheads. We might even do Encino, man. We got some fun stuff coming from Brendan Fraser, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Lots of dope content coming this month, guys, and the months to come for the rest of this year. We just getting into high gear, baby, and we ain't stopping no time soon. So thank you for checking out this review, guys, and until next time, stay tuned, don't sleep, much love, and we'll catch you on the next one.